It's Under the Lights on the CW. Brought to you by Dairy Queen, Alta Federal Credit Union, Heat 9 Associates, Palshay Chevrolet, and Alti Sudlink.
Hey, good evening, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us here Under the Lights, our Week 8 edition of the show here on the CW. And Tina, although we're in Week 8, we're in mid-October. You'd think we'd get a little nippy weather after last week, and I was wearing shorts and a T-shirt shooting some of these games tonight. It was ridiculous.
You were in shorts and a T-shirt. I was kind of bundled up. I was expecting it to be cold, but I was wrong. So, Texas weather for you.
Well, you know, speaking of cold, I mean, I wouldn't want to be in a Henderson Lions practice this week because after following a disappointing loss last week to the Palestine.
Johnny, we got to get to it.
Let's do it.
Our game of the week. Henderson hosting Kilgore. Henderson honoring veterans on the field for the national anthem with a fireworks show to say thank you for your service. Henderson's first series stuck deep in their own territory as quarterback Colin Everett drops back, but it's Kilgore's Jace McFarland coming up with the interception. This leads to a 4th and 1, and Kilgore goes for it at the 16, but the Lions stop Kenny short and take over on the ensuing drive. Everett hands to Kevin Fields for a big run as he's taken down just shortly after. And then Everett, he'll toss a pass to Jerrion Fuller. And Fuller right here, he will dance down the sidelines for a few more yards. And finally, it is Elijah Jones takes the ball right into the end zone for the Lions. 7-0. But Henderson wins this one, 36-29. Big district and rivalry win for them tonight, Johnny.
And Tina, you were there earlier for our 6 o'clock hit. You were first on the field for Game of the Week. Did you feel the sense of urgency? Because Phil Castles, I know all week he was stressing that the fact that they need to play better defensive football, and it looks like they responded
yes,
tonight.
To a sense of urgency. I mean, Henderson was coming off a loss to Palestine last week. So Coach was saying they were kind of looking to rebound and to get their first district win. So, for sure.
Absolutely. Big win for the Lions. Big district win. Now, staying in the same district, but going to a completely different league, let's head to TAPS action tonight down the road at Grace Community, where the Cougars were taking on the Brook Hill guard and Brook Hill quarterback Garrett Esposito, ready to rock and roll, all 6'6" of them. Beautiful throw early on. That's going to go to Seth Moss, looking more like Randy Dandy Moss. And the guard take a quick 7-0 lead. After a Grace punt, it's the guard back at it. Espo looking to his right. He's going to hit Carson Richards, and the short pass, and the Cougars, they do a really poor job of tackling. Richards spins off one tackler, dives for the pylon. They're going to say he's out at the 3-yard line. And then on the very next play, the big bruising back, Nico Flores, will do the dirty work from about 3 yards out, and the guard take a 14-0 lead on the road. Now, Grace has been dominated for the majority of this first half, set to punt yet again. They only had one first down at this point, and it's a booming punt. It's going to be muffed by Moss. He'll try to regain possession twice, but it's the Cougs who recover it. Jacob Pena is on it, and it's going to be 1st and goal from the 2-yard line, and Grace, they would take advantage of the Brook Hill mistake. Quarterback Price Williams throws it over to Emmanuel Milton, one of many Miltons on that Grace team. He dives to the pylon to cut the lead in half. And this was a barn burner just down the road. And the guard, they come on the road and they get a huge win, 33-28.
Johnny, we just saw two of the best schools in the TAPS division. To you, who has more of the edge and why?
Well, obviously, going into tonight, obviously, Brook Hill has the inside track, but I'll tell you right now, they have the quarterback play. I mean, you look at a kid like Garrett Esposito, 6'6", 195 pounds. You're watching him warm up. He's a great-looking talent, and I'll tell you something right now. If Brook Hill gets it going, watch for them just to make some noise once we get to postseason action.
All right.
And also, I know we have another one of our great CBS 19 reporters out in the field. That'd be Tim Wolf, who was at Carlisle at Alto today. So, Tim, take it away, buddy.
Hey there, guys. Well, the question tonight was whether or not the Alto defense could continue their dominance after only allowing 47 yards to Big Sandy last week. Well, they were facing a 4-2 Carlisle team with an explosive dual-threat quarterback, but the answer was still a resounding yes. Early in the first quarter, Carlisle took over possession on their own 1-yard line. Indians quarterback Carlos De Leon rolls right and fumbles in the end zone. An Alto recovery is ruled a touchdown, 7-0 Yellow Jackets. That would be the only score of the first quarter. Second quarter now, Carlisle with the ball again. De Leon looking for the slant, but the pass is intercepted by Harmon West. His decent return sets up a quick strike by the Alto offense. West would then find Aaron Skinner on the first play of the drive, and that puts Alto up 15-0. Now, Carlisle showing they have some life in their offense. De Leon passes deep to Victor Camacho, and he takes it in for the score. The ref actually almost ran me over on that play. But that would be about all we saw from the Indians' offense tonight, and after a scoreless third quarter, West finds Todd Duplachain for the nail in the coffin score. Final from Alto, Yellow Jackets 29, Indians 7. Now the standout tonight was, in my mind, by far Alto quarterback Henderson.
All right, on to Jacksonville, where Wayne Coleman and his Indians are hoping to end Marshall's 3-game win streak. First quarter, Marshall's quarterback Savion Williams steps back and airs this one out to wide receiver Loic Rawls for the score, but he loses it. I bet he wishes he can get that one back. And then it is Savion Williams again with the handoff to Dominique Williams. He cuts to the right and finds a huge gap in the secondary. He takes this one 50 yards until Jacksonville's Steven Gallegos gets him down near the 10. That sets up this play. Savion Williams called his number all game and just totes this one in. 7-0 Marshall, and they go on to stomp Jacksonville with a final score of 45-13.
Man, rough year for Jacksonville. Headed to Bulldog Stadium now as we check in on the Carthage Bulldogs sitting 6-0. The Bulldog Bowl taking on Chapel Hill tonight. And early on, it's Nick Stewart with this huge kickoff return, and that set the tempo for the entire night. Mason Courtney, he's going to go in for the touchdown now to make it 7-0. Beautiful run. He's been doing it all season long. Later, quarterback Kai Horton going to find Courtney again. Watch this. You got the Chapel Hill defenders running the wrong way, and that is never good. It's a beautiful run there. And now Scott Surratt, one of the best coaches in all of East Texas, loving what he's seeing. And Horton, he's going to find Mason Courtney for the touchdown. That makes it 14-0 Carthage. They'd go on to tack on a whole lot more. They beat Chapel Hill by a score of 40-14. Packed house in Bullard as the Bulldogs are taking on the Rusk Eagles. Second quarter, Bullard quarterback Tristan Shoemake steps back, but nobody is open. So he's going to take this one himself down the sideline. And it's going to be a late hit by Sean Rogers. Never a smart idea. That's 15 yards and an automatic first down. Now it's 1st and goal for Bullard. So Shoemake rolls to her right and finds a wide open Riley Long for an easy score. Bulldogs clawing their way back into this one, but Rusk, their turn. They hand it off to Sean Rogers, and he tiptoes through 3 tackles until Jackson Elliott tracks him down from across the field from behind. Good field position now for Rusk. And Jayon Hall, he rolls to the left, swerves the defender, fumbles it. Bullard comes up with the fumble, but then at the end of the day, it was too much. Rusk Eagles, they get the win 32-14.
All right, Johnny, we just saw Marshall 4-game win streak tonight.
Yes.
I think Carthage 7-game win streak, and Bullard, they're kind of having a down year. What do you think is the issue for them?
Well, when I look at Bullard, I mean, you look at their offense, they play so fast, they play so up-tempo, and sometimes when you're trying to rush that tempo and you can't necessarily stay ahead of everything, I mean, that can be a deterrent. You're going really fast, you're going to turn over the ball from time to time. But one thing I have to mention on Carthage right now, there's 2 teams I've looked at all year, the Gilmer Buckeyes and the Carthage Bulldogs, and they are on a laser path back to the state playoffs, and I expect them to make a deep, serious run in the UIL playoffs. But, you know, we're talking so much football. We got to come up for air at some point. We're going to take a quick break, so don't go anywhere because we're just getting started here on Under the Lights. We're going to have so much more East Texas high school football action right after the break.
Welcome back, everyone. Thanks for joining us on Under the Lights. I'm Tina Nguyen. When it comes to high school football, you'd be hard-pressed to find another region of the country that takes it as seriously as we do here in East Texas. And our head coaches are as good as any, and that includes Pine Tree Pirates head coach Carrie Lane, who just happens to be our Week 8 Whataburger Coach of the Week. It's often our experience and the people we're surrounded by that help shape and mold us. For Carrie Lane, his time spent at Gilmer High School has greatly impacted him, particularly by one person.
Matt Turner. He taught me so much. My first year coaching at Gilmer, I don't know if he was told to do it or if it's just who he is, but he kind of took me under his wing, and we were up there every night late, and he taught me how to plan a practice and how to coach details. And I used to be a guy that thought I was pretty sharp, that I could kind of keep it all in my head, and this job has taught me you better write it down. And I read a book once that said if you don't apply something that you learn within a week, you lose it. And so I'm always trying to jot stuff down, write it down, do that.
For Coach Lane, it's all in the details and the list.
I'm always at practice with my script, and I'm writing down maybe we didn't have good leverage on a block, or maybe I didn't think we spun the coverage the right way, or whatever, whatever is going on with the play. I write it down and I bring it up with the coaches later and the kids. And so I would say I write that the most. As far as like lists in office and stuff like that, most of it's just the daily organization of making sure everyone's where they're supposed to be, doing what they're supposed to be doing. My weekly itineraries, all the coaches make fun of me when they're down to the minute every day of where everybody's supposed to be and what everybody's supposed to be doing. And that's 100% a credit to just Matt, I think Coach Turner's influence on me.
Currently in his 4th season as the Pirates head coach, he strives to build his program off of 5 core values.
The first thing was letting the kids know that they were cared about, that their performance on the field wasn't what their value was, and I think that was from coaching a group of kids that had been through head coaches and been through people telling them they wanted to be here and then just to leave. I think the number one thing we had to develop was trust, and that was the kids trusting us and letting us coach them, and what we ask them to do is hard. It's hot, and it's not natural to run into people, and so I think that was the number one thing. I know it was, and then just trusting the community. When a parent drops their kid off with us at 7 o'clock in the morning, doesn't pick them up again until 7 or 8 o'clock at night, they got to trust that you have their kids' best interest in mind. And I think I really talked to the staff about it myself. I wanted to make sure these parents know that we know we're dealing with the most important thing in your life, and we're not taking that lightly. And so that was a big one. The next one was perfect effort, and that was something I got from Coach Traylor, and it was, you're never going to play perfect, but you can always have perfect effort. So it was perfect effort in the weight room. It was perfect effort on how we clean the locker room. It was perfect effort on having the right socks on. I mean, everything was just, it was just details. And so we worked on those things first, and then we got into our, phases of competing.
Seasons will always come and go. However, it's the everyday impact that will often last a lifetime.
And you get to not necessarily be a father to them, but you get to kind of teach them some of those lessons that they're going to need later in life. And when you see them sink in, it's a lot more important than winning games. That's the best part.
For Whataburger Coach of the Week, I'm Tina Nguyen.
All right, well, it was great to visit with Coach Kerry Lane earlier this week, and I asked him, was there anything that surprises you about your team? He says no. So I feel like he knows his team very well. But I did ask him, any player that's really surprised you, kind of, really sparked this team this season? And he says DJ Freeman.
I'll tell you, DJ Freeman. He was the passing coordinator, not DJ Freeman, but Kerry Lane was the passing coordinator at Gilmer, and he learned a lot from the Traylor family, especially how to play offensive football. And I'll tell you something right now, with DJ Freeman, as talented as any quarterback in East Texas. And speaking of those Gilmer Buckeyes, who Coach Lane used to coach, I should say, let's head to this game tonight between the Buckeyes and the Pleasant Grove Hawks. Both teams are unbeaten in league play, so let's get to all the action. First quarter, Gilmer quarterback makes a beautiful throw to Eddie Ray. Sweet baby Ray's in for the touchdown to make it 14-0. Later in the second quarter, Pleasant Grove running back Kamaya Hicks gets a pitch and runs to the corner of the end zone to make it 21-10 Hawks. Later, Buckeyes trying to get back at it. Beautiful throw to Dylan Fluellen. Good catch and run. Look at him go. I love those uniforms, Tina. Those are beautiful. And it's some great yardage there. And then the Buckeyes quarterback fires the ball to his right. Finds Eddie Ray again for another touchdown. Wow, that would make it 21-17. And at the end of the day, well, it's homecoming for many seniors. But no, that's not the game I was looking for. The Pleasant Grove Hawks, not a surprise, Gilmer. That makes it 37-24. And that would be the final. Tina, I was speaking earlier about Gilmer, we were speaking about Carthage. I say coming into the year, both of them were on a collision course to get to the state playoffs.
Absolutely.
Carthage, unfazed. Gilmer, they get their second loss of the year. Are you worried about the Buckeyes?
I'm not. Now, after speaking with Coach Matt Turner, I feel like because they had a 6-7 record last season. When their
down
first
year
season,
for them.
Yes,
that's panic
years.
time in Gilmer because they're used to just rolling through these regular seasons.
Matt Turner said, those guys, they learned a lot of great lessons from it. And clearly this year, it's working well for them. So.
Absolutely. Well, we're into mid-October, which means it's homecoming for a lot of schools. And, homecoming is a time where schools and families, they get to come together, a chance to reacquaint and celebrate the game of football. But for one West Rusk football homecoming, well, it took on an entirely literal meaning. Our Jacqueline Laura has the story.
Turn around, Tyrell! Turn around!
Tyrell, we'd like you to turn around and greet Riley.
It's a reunion 8 months in the making.
I did not know about this at all. I thought it was going to be a regular Friday. Just come here, celebrate, and play the game.
Navy Chief Petty Officer Tammy Medford Jones has never been to any of her sons Tyrell's football games.
I'm just overjoyed, overwhelmed. It's the same butterflies. I was just happy to see him.
Today, that changed.
He's gotten taller since the last time I've seen him, but just excited and thankful that we could do this.
Yesterday, she flew into Longview from where she's stationed in Virginia, all just to surprise her son today.
No, he's going to be mad that I kept the secret from you, that I'm surprising you tomorrow, but I'm very proud of you, and I couldn't be even more happier of the young man you're becoming, and I can't wait to see you at the next level. And I love you, my mini-me, even though he's 6 feet tall. So.
During West Rusk homecoming parade, she hid inside football coach Nick Harrison's office.
Yeah, he thinks that I didn't keep a secret, but payback for all the times he joked me, so.
And donned the Radar mascot costume.
She cannot see it all because her head's from waffling her.
Hiding inside the tunnel, and between the band playing, cheers, and dances, she waited for her cue. Now this moment will forever replay in their hearts for the rest of their lives. For Under the Lights, I'm Jacqueline Laura.
Thank you, Jacqueline, for that awesome story. Now let's check in with Sabine in West Rusk. Rex Sharp and his Cardinals 6-0 overall, 2-0 in district. And we catch this game at halftime with Sabine up 20-13. Rebels first possession here. Second half, we're back to punt, but it's fake. Don Mata looks like he's going to make it, but out of nowhere, it's Brennan Ford. Lays a wall up on him short of the first down. Cardinals take over the quarterback, Landon McKinney, right here, calling his own number. He takes it straight up the middle and into the end zone. Sabine Cardinals 28, West Rusk Rebels 13. Following a sack and a fumble, Sabine has it again, and once more, it's Everett up the middle for the touchdown. Cardinals 36, Rebels 13, but West Rusk will not give up as Gavin Smith takes the handoff, and he's headed up the middle for a 32-yard gain. A few plays later, it is Smith again, right here in for the touchdown. Cardinals 36, Rebels 21. Sabine wins 50-29. They are now on a 7-game win streak.
And don't you go anywhere, because when we get right back, we're going to take you to more great games that took place around East Texas tonight. Don't touch that dial. Hey everybody, welcome back. Well, we've reached the midpoint of the high school football season here in East Texas, and we've been witness to some amazing performances through the first 7 weeks of play. And our Player of the Week, well, our Player of the Week winner, he set some lofty goals, not only for himself, but for his entire team in 2019. This week's East Texas Professional Credit Union Player of the Week is Lindale running back Jordan Jenkins.
Most kids growing up in East Texas have dreams of gridiron glory. They envision making big plays under the lights on a Friday night. And they have dreams of going down in school history by their final game of their senior season. Lindale running back Jordan Jenkins is already an Eagle legend, but here's the catch. He's only a junior. Age has never mattered much to Jenkins, because when you lower your shoulder and pile drive a linebacker, how old you are is the last thing they're thinking about.
Definitely running over people. That has to be my favorite thing. Last year, I would literally go towards people just to hit them. I've kind of gone away from that because that stopped me from getting yards.
And despite Jenkins being as nice of a kid as you'd ever speak to, he runs angry. And that was on full display last Friday night against Hallsville, when the bruising tailback took the ball on 18 carries for 120 yards and 3 touchdowns.
I was really focused on just bringing it to him through the whole entire game and going yard after yard and not worrying about making any huge plays. And 4 yards, first down, 10 yards, I wasn't expecting like super long runs, and I was planning on body blows happening.
Body blows, physically dominating his opponent. In a very short time, Jenkins has earned the reputation as one of the toughest backs to bring down in all of East Texas. And his coaches know what type of discipline that takes to perform in a week-in, week-out basis.
Anything that we ask of him, he's going to do it exactly the way we ask him to do it, so that's kind of what sets him apart from other kids. Some kids might kind of try to cut corners here and there. That is not Jordan. If you ask him to do it, if you tell him to do it, he's going to get it done exactly the way you ask him to.
And when most backs only focus on churning out yards and scoring flashy touchdowns, well, Jenkins is more than happy to take care of the dirty work of the position, like picking up the blitz and taking pride in his pass blocking.
I do take a lot of pride in it. We go blitz pickup around in practice sometimes, and it's not just something to blow over. It's something that will happen in the game and that we need to watch for and it could cause a sack in the backfield or a touchdown.
That sums him up. He's just such an unselfish young man. You know, most running backs want the ball in their hands, and obviously I think he enjoys that too. But to be able to pick up a blitz and deliver contact on a linebacker, you know, that's pretty special.
And although he still has his senior season on deck, Jenkins isn't rushing anything.
I have a lot of fun. There's nothing like being here and working with my teammates that I love every day.
All right, lofty goals. That's what you just mentioned earlier. What kind of goals did he tell you, Johnny?
Well, you know, I asked him, like I asked a lot of our player of the week, didn't make the package, and said, you ever have an interest in playing Division I college football? You want to continue your football career?
What
And he said, not only do I want to play Division I football, I want to make a career in the NFL one day. And
Hey,
you know
go
what?
big or go home, right?
He runs physically, he runs angry, and he's a disciplined young man. It wouldn't surprise me. But, you know, if he wants to get to the NFL one day, before he can get to college and the NFL, he's got to get by those White House Wildcats. So, Tina, let's go to Wildcat
Let's check in on that. We're going to head to the home of Patrick Mahomes' White House hosting the Lindell Eagles tonight, first quarter. White House defense coming out strong as they get the sack on Lindell's Brayson Campbell. But check this out. First snap of the game for White House. Quarterback Caden Casey finds a wide open gap, and he is off to the races, headed into the end zone. 78-yard touchdown run. It's 7-0 Wildcats. Still in the first, Campbell will air it out to tight end Dylan Worrell, and then the next drive, Campbell will keep this one himself as he will find the end zone. Touchdown for the Eagles. It's tied at 7 at the end of the first quarter, and the White House Wildcats will get a home win, 43-36. All right, to Lobo Stadium, where the Lobos are on a 22-game win streak. That's right, 22, taking on Rockwall Heath tonight. First quarter, Haynes King pump fake, and he'll find Caden Kirby, and he will take it into the end zone for 28 yards. Lobos strike first, 7-0. Still in the first, Texas A&M commit will hit Philip Washington as he's taken down just shortly after, putting up a good fight, though. Moments later, King will hand this one off to Caden Meredith as he spins out, breaking a few tackles, and finds his way up the middle. 48-yard touchdown run, 14-0 Lobos. And Longview extends their win streak to 23 games with the final score 49-14.
How about those Lobos? You know, let's go over to Wascom taking on Elysian Fields. Cheerleaders fired up. Didn't take long for the Wildcats. On the second play, Josh Reeves flips it over to DJ Feaster, who's going to take it all the way to the house. 7-0 Cats. Elysian Fields offense couldn't get much going as Ryan Wilkerson is going to be sacked by Tyler Hayes in the backfield. Is that kind of night? Next possession, it's going to be Reeves again. Flips it to Feaster, who is going to take it into the red zone. Look at him go. Look at those big, powerful strides. He's wearing those long sleeves. Man, it ain't that cold. Come on now. Later, Kai Willett takes the handoff, and he is in for the score. Elysian Fields trying to get something going with the bomb into the end zone now after you see that beautiful touchdown run, one of many. Now, here's this bomb into the end zone, but it's going to be Zay Thomas with the interception. Great defensive play. In the final of this one, we're going to have a Wascom victory, 28-19. And, you know, after the break, we're going to take a look at some more scores from across East Texas. So, Tina, what do you say to everybody? Don't go anywhere, right?
Hey, that's right. We're coming.
We got one more highlight tonight. Let's head down the road to Troop and check in on the Tigers taking on Frankston. Both teams meeting the pregame tour test. Frankston, they get the ball forced to quarterback Brink Brizzell, picking up the first down. A couple plays later, it's Troop Braden Vess forces the fumble. He's going to pick it up, scoop, and that boy is scoring 20 yards into the end zone for the touchdown. 6-0 Tigers. Now on the PAT attempt, that snap is high, but Anthony Salgado takes it in for 2 to make it 8-0 Cats. Only gets worse for Frankston. Ensuing kickoff. No one covers the pooch kick except for Troops Braden Vest. And here we go. Coming into your living room, it's going to be Jordan Elliott on the beautiful pass to Caleb Smith for the touchdown. That gives Troop a 15-0 lead. Troop with the ball yet again, and it's Elliott yet again wanting more as he darts up the middle. Eventually going to be taken down from behind at the 5-yard line. And it's not quite over yet. Elliott's going to find Jaden Lewis for the touchdown here, making 22-0 Troop. They go on to absolutely roll. Tina, let's check out some scores in the final minute.
All right, Marshall Jackson. We saw this one earlier. Marshall takes it with the score 45-13. Pine Tree and Nacogdoches tonight. Pine Tree takes this one 38-28.
Hallsville, Mount Pleasant. Look at that. Mount Pleasant gets a big 21-7 lead. Carthage, Chapel Hill, we saw early, 40-14. Let's get one more. Palestine and Van. How about the Vandals? They get a big win. And Gilmer, Pleasant Grove, we saw that one earlier. So, Tina, 10 seconds. What's your takeaway from tonight?
Marshall, 4-game win streak. Carthage, 7-0.
Absolutely. We got a lot of great storylines. Stick with us all week on CBS 19, and we'll see you next week here on Under the Lights.